Hello and welcome to Mind Mutter Matters. My name is John Usher from mindmuttermatters.com. I invite you to join me as we explore our inner voice and the inevitability of identity and all that brings with it. Hello and welcome. Episode number 4 of the Mind Mutter Matters podcast. I've noticed in some of the past episodes, I tend to call the episodes podcasts. And it so annoys me because they are episodes, they are not podcasts. Podcast is the channel. So, it's all part of the learning. I'm still getting there. So welcome. This is the second time I am starting this episode today. I started a couple of hours ago and was interrupted by my neighbour banging and drilling in his garden. So the usual coos, what? I don't know. I don't know what it is. The sound that doves make. Oh, funny. Sounds like it could be a line of the song. Sound that the doves make. Anyway, moving along. So in today's episode, in this Mind Mutter Matters podcast, where we talk about the inevitability of identity and all that is associated with it. Dear, you may have noticed I'm a little bit distracted with everything that's going on outside today, so I do apologize if I get a little distracted. All good, we will find our way. So what I wanted to share with you in this podcast, you'll see it's titled The Echoes of the Past That Creates Your Future. And I want to deal with how the mind matter is an echo and how that echo then shapes our future. And in order to explain the echo, I need to go into the past and start talking about the views and opinions of others. And of ourselves for that matter. So what happens is we go through a situation, a belief system. Let's talk about a belief system. A belief system is an emotionally held opinion. And what helps justify or what helps create the belief is that it needs time, it needs information, and it needs a whole bunch of emotion. And in a crazy equation, my mathematical brain likes them equations because it helps me explain why and sometimes how, although I don't delve into the how so much anymore. So anyway, we were on belief systems and we've got a whole load of information. So let's talk about the smoking thing. Just again, I've said this in the past episodes. I'm not picking on anyone. I don't have anything against smokers. I don't smoke myself, but it just, without delving too deep in the emotional stuff, it helps us explain concepts within mind matter. So let's talk about the smokers giving up. A guy gives up and he kills the cigarette. And as he kills the cigarette, there's emotion that goes with it. There's information that goes with it. He quits for 3 weeks. But he's a total jerk. He's an absolute wally. And everybody around him just endures him for 3 weeks until finally week 4, they're like, no, we can't do this anymore. So they have an intervention. And everybody buys him a packet of cigarettes or a carton or something. And, he comes into the office or he walks into the house and everybody's gathered together. And this is an intervention. Please, buddy, you're an absolute arse when you don't smoke. So here's a packet of cigarettes. Here's a carton. Do us all a favor and just smoke. Rather die young because we see there is not much other hope for you. I'm being ugly to him now. All right. Anyway, so he now, let's say he's sitting in the office. He now takes one of those packets of cigarettes And he goes to the office, I can't even say goes to the toilet anymore. Now, back in the day, when you were allowed to smoke inside buildings. So he goes to the smokers area on the roof, and he's sitting in a corner, and he jacks up a cigarette. He lights a cigarette, and as he's lighting up that cigarette, there's a whole load of emotions going through him. There's a sense of frustration, of trying to quit. There's a sense of failure. He may have said bad things to his spouse or his mother or whatever the case may be. He swore at his boss, crashed his car because he was too, busy with road rage. And he's got all this emotion, and there's a whole load of information. So whether he's aware of the information or not, he quit smoking for 4 weeks. He was a dick when he quit smoking, and geez, now that he's dragging the cigarette, it's so delicious, it's so nice. He actually loves it, right? So down, a few weeks later, he's hanging out in the local pub, and he meets this amazing lady. We did say he might have annoyed his spouse, so we'll have to erase that comment. There was no spouse involved. Otherwise, he's a cheating swine, and his problems are far greater than just smoking. Anyway, so he meets this wonderful lady, and he does the chit-chat thing, and she's impressed with his corny pickup lines. And she's got a reservation, though. Her reservation is the fact that he smokes. And she says to him, listen, buddy, I don't kiss ashtrays, so if we're going to be together, you're going to have to quit. And in this dramatic moment, he kills the cigarette to the cheers and hoorays of everybody in the pub, and the girl blushing, and it's so cute, it's so romantic. And in the back of his head, Mutter sets the timer going. The information that Mutter received previously was the fact that he can quit smoking for 4 weeks. And as soon as he kills that cigarette, makes his love declaration to this girl, Mutter in the background hits the go button. So time's ticking away, and tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. 4 weeks goes by without a hitch. Yes, he can hardly believe his luck. No withdrawal symptoms, no problems whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, the last day of week 4, because now we can't go to week 5, says Mutter. Mutter cranks open the guilt condemnation, cranks open the cravings, cranks it, doesn't just a little bit, puts it in overdrive, because he's already made a judgment. In his first attempt at quitting smoking, he made a judgment. He said to himself, I can't quit smoking. I can stop for 4 weeks, but I can't quit. And Mutter is just reminding him of this commitment, of this judgment. And this is the thing with judgment. It becomes a point of view, it becomes a perspective of our life that we absolutely regard as true. So Mutter says, here, buddy, get all the cravings you can. So the dude had been, chit-chatting for the girl for a month. And he's so happy to be smoking again. He's got 2 cigarettes in his mouth when she walks in the door. Oh, no. She's bust him. And she says, I thought you quit. I told you it was either me or the cigarettes. And he's like, oh, baby, I'm so going to miss you. And that's the end of the relationship. But that event adds more emotion, because now he's lost the hottie. He's failed again. But the cigarette tastes so good. So in the emotions of the belief systems, there's sometimes contradictions. So the happiness of smoking again, and the frustration of losing the goal, or the anxiety, or not the anxiety, the depression of failing, kind of mingled in with the happiness of smoking again. So it's a whole mixed bag of emotions that are involved. So now this dude, this is his strike two, and he now decides this is truth. This is absolute truth. I cannot quit smoking. So, is it true? No, it's an opinion. It's emotionally charged opinion. That's all it is. It's an emotionally charged opinion. So now he's decided it's truth, and that now just reminds Mind Mutter, or engages Mind Mutter in a never-ending loop of reminding the dude that he loves smoking. Every time he sees a quit smoking advert, he gets that pang of anxiety. And of the failure of quitting, and he feels that anxiety about quitting, even considering quitting. He sees all the health adverts, and he just I'll get healthy, but I ain't quitting smoking. He goes on a dating app, and he's looking for them girls that smoke as well, because he doesn't want to date a girl that doesn't smoke. Mind Mutter just whispers in his ear, and every time he lights up a cigarette, he's standing on the roof of the company, and he's smoking, and he smokes, and it's just, this is good, this is good, this is the way life should be. So Mind Mutter can be negative stuff, Mind Mutter can be positive stuff. Mind Mutter doesn't care. It doesn't care whether the judgments you have made are positive or negative. It doesn't care. It cares the fact that you have made the judgment that this is truth. Now it's out there, and it echoes it. Mind Mutter itself is not a judgment. It doesn't judge you. But John, my inner voice has such a tone. Darling, that tone is an expression of the way you feel about the judgment, about the truth, about the declaration of truth that you made. It's not Mind Mutter. Mind Mutter is just an echo. And it will echo the tone. Doesn't make the judgment call, doesn't make recommendations. It purely repeats what we already have chosen as true. That's all it's doing. And now when we get into the fact that Mind Mutter is an echo of the past, what happens to us is you cannot, and this is a weird one, but stay with me now. You cannot, events are in the past. Happenings are in the past. But emotions are not in the past. Emotions are now. They're always present. If you think back to something that happened to you when you were 5 years old, I can tell you now, physiologically, psychologically, you become that 5-year-old again. Because you experience the same emotions as you did then. They are the same emotions. Emotions are never past tense. They're always in the present. So what the Mind Mutter has done by echoing the truth that you've decided is true, the truth you've decided to guide and regulate your life, the point of view that you're going to live by, you've brought that emotion into the now. It's a way of refreshing those feelings, a way of refreshing those emotions in the moment. And those emotions then run out, their energy go into the universe and starts to create our future. So, the dude might quit smoking another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Pressures of health and, non-smoking rules and price of cigarettes and all the rest of it. He wants to quit. He would like to quit, but he's already declared the truth that he cannot. It is true for him that he is unable to quit. So these emotions that he's experiencing in the now, as he is reminded by Mind Mutter, runs out and starts to create his reality in the future. Every time he even thinks about quitting, the emotions of the moment say, we're going to maintain the status quo because this is what's good for us. And in so doing, it creates the future. Now, for a lot of people, or let me put it this way, the intent of Mind Mutter, the purpose of Mind Mutter is to help us create a future of possibilities, a future of joy, of peace, a future of understanding, yes, of achievement even. But what we've chosen to do with Mind Mutter is use it to regulate us, to keep us in the mundane, to keep us in negative mindsets. And that's a bugger, It's a real pain in the butt. And the thing is, we have a lot of these views and opinions, a lot of, we've now spoken about the smoking, but there are a lot of views and opinions that we hold as true. They're not even ours. They aren't even ours. We picked them up by other people. Other people have spewed their judgments on us. We've made a mistake or whatever the case may be. They've projected onto us. They've slapped us with their expectations. They have separated from us because of behaviors or perceived behaviors or character traits or whatever the case may be. And they've made these statements, you are this. And, we echo it in our heads, and we don't say you, we say I. We claim that as an identity statement. And that's really what Mind Mutter is about. It's about supporting and establishing identity. And it will echo, I am a failure, I am a loser, I am this, that, and the next thing. And even though we are doing it in our tone, in our voice, it is the view and opinion of others, emotionally charged maybe, but we've accepted them as true. We've made them our own. To hell with that. To hell with that. So here you come in pursuit of personal development, and you want to get out of it. You want to make changes in your life. So you start making changes in your life in terms of the behavior. And, if you're really good, you should be making changes at the level of identity, because in that way, there's an inevitability of the identity that will create and shape your behaviors. But, whichever, that's a story for another day. So let's just say, you're awake and you're full of consciousness and you're making these changes on an identity level, but there is a void. Once we get rid of the old habits, the ghost quits smoking, there is a void. Habits, time he spent on the roof, time he spent outside smoking, now has to be filled with something. 9 times out of 10, for the majority of people, it is filled with the echoes of the past that then shapes and creates our future. It brings our past into the present, makes us experience those emotions, and then it helps us decide what we are going to do for our future. So now our personal growth, personal development is hampered by the views and opinions of other people. Because we cling on to those opinions for whatever reason. I don't understand it. And often people will recognize that their belief, their Mind Mutter, is contrary to what they have chosen for their lives. So, and then they want to cast it out. Get out of my head. Shut up. I won't have it. And that, is all fine, but you can't really cast out something that is part of you. Mind Mutter is an inbuilt mechanism. It's not added. It's not the view and opinion of other people. It might echo those views and opinions, but Mind Mutter itself is a function of our own minds. So how we fight against it. And I'm not a fan of fighting. I'd rather make love, not war. So what do we do? How do we manage this Mind Mutter? And what I have done in the past is I myself have addressed Mind Mutter as a good old friend. And I've got a statement that I then, use to acknowledge Mind Mutter and the fact that Mind Mutter is echoing judgments and decisions, whether my own or from other people. And I then choose to, recognize where it's come from, and I then dissolve that identity. I get rid of that identity. There is an inevitability of identity. If I walk around saying I'm a smoker that has quit, well, smokers smoke. So the longer you have that identity, the more likely you are going to smoke in the future. But if you dissolve that identity of a smoker, you get rid of it, you dissolve it, and you now say, I am healthy. And I am a healthy non-smoker. And that is the identity that you're seeding. There's an inevitability of that identity that's going to prevent you from smoking. Are you following this? So I've got this little prayer statement shindig thing that I utter when Mind Mutter reminds me of echoes that I do not regard as part of my life. I do not regard as beneficial for where I want to be, for where I want to go, for who I am. And it goes something like this. Dear Mind Mutter. And I start with Dear Mind Mutter because Mind Mutter is dear. It's doing a very important, very constructive job. Sometimes content is a pain in the bum, but content is not the responsibility of Mind Mutter. That is your conscious decision. So I acknowledge that I appreciate what Mind Mutter is doing by saying, Dear Mind Mutter, I recognize that you echo judgments, decisions, points of view, and choices made about me and my life, and outcomes, and everything that it involves. I choose to recognize the point of origin for this particular echo, and now unchoose, uncreate, unempower it as a judgment in my life. I choose to dissolve the echo and everything that relates to it, and I choose instead to seed an option, an identity that creates joy, peace, awe, wonder, and grace. And I seal that choice in love and light. Woo! Now, I did say that fast. I am familiar with it. I've used it a few times. I will put it in the show notes. And you can play it again. You know what I mean? You can play it over and over. Make sure you get that statement. And when Mind Mutter pops up, I pull this out and I, put the echo into the right context that it no longer serves me. Because this is the amazing thing about Mind Mutter. It's easily controlled. It's easily controlled by choice. Whatever you decide goes, What are you deciding as truth? What are you choosing as a point of view, as a perspective that you want in your life? So I choose a choice. I make a choice of a perspective for one of love and light. I make a choice for joy, peace, awe, wonder, grace in my life, and everything that brings. And that's what I do with Mind Mutter. So I recommend you do the same. I would like you to feel lighter. I want you to feel good about Mind Mutter, and I want you to feel lighter about life, and I want you to have the success and joys that you hope for your life. I'm so selfish, because it does. I am excited about your well-being, your development, and I know Mind Mutter is one of those things that are going to trip you up. That's why I have a whole website called Mind Mutter Matters, and it really does matter. And it matters to me that you get the best out of your Mind Mutter. And with that, I wish you love and light. If you've liked this podcast, please help me grow this channel. Click like, leave me a comment, subscribe, share this podcast with others that may be seeking to understand their inner voice as well as searching more about their identity. You are welcome to search for more on mindmuttermatters.com or johnusher.com. And I hope to see you next time. Keep it real. Bye now.